welcome back to my channel. And if you're new here, my name is Alejandra Montante and this is Aria. So in this video, I really wanted to try to describe a PTSD episode. So I've talked about PTSD a lot, depression, BPD, all of these other mental illnesses. And when I describe them, they're very general, just like to have a very scientific understanding of them, a broad understanding of them. But as of yesterday, I did have an episode. It was a trigger that was very close to my trauma. And I've been dealing with it for the past 2 days. I had nightmares, and even yesterday before the trigger happened, that morning I did have a nightmare too. And it just didn't help. And it never helps when you have this trigger and then you're also thinking about everything else, everything that doesn't typically bother you on a daily basis, bother you all of a sudden, and now you have just stressor upon stressor upon stressor. So just an example to what I meant by that, Aria going to the vet. Yes, was I kind of stressed out for the money, for the cost? Yeah, I was. Was I stressed out for her health? Of course I was, because she's been having like little patches fall off of her, and it's just so scary. But it didn't bother me that much until I had the trigger. So I'm gonna try to describe it now. So when the trigger happened, I was thinking how to get out of the situation. I was thinking what's the plan? Instead of, I'm freaking out, run, get away, please. I instead thought, okay, my neighbor's here and this guy is in front of us, really, really close to us. Our dogs are right in front of us, because I think that they knew that something was wrong, that this person, it didn't sit with them right. So they were in front of us, protecting us. My neighbor, she also has PTSD. So we both knew something wasn't okay. So then what's the plan, right? Like I said, I'm thinking of, okay, I can't leave my neighbor. I'm gonna have to stay here. Aria was the first one to start barking. Aria was the only one to start barking, because she's just like me. She has no chill for people that she does not like or feel that she doesn't like. Eventually she calms down. We're just there. He's talking to us. He's trying to give us his sob story. And I know that sounds ugly, but you just don't come up to somebody, ask for a smoke, and then immediately dive into his stepmom hating him. Maybe he needed to get that off of his chest, but it was just weird as I explain it. He did that, and both of us, we are very sensitive to people's stories. We're very empathetic and we're sympathetic. So we feel exactly what you're feeling. So my neighbor started giving him some, advice, and she was very sensitive to what he had told us. And eventually he derailed from that, and he had mentioned how his dad had died, but now his dad is alive, and he's going back to his mother hating him and disowning him, and now he's jumping back to his dad's alive, and that they were meeting up, and that they took this really big picture, blah, 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 so many likes on Facebook, money. I know, I'm butchering it, but you can see how it's just derailing, and it's just very all over the place. My neighbor, as soon as he derailed, stopped speaking to him in a place of sympathy or empathy. Because of my PTSD, I don't like looking at people in the eye. It's very, very difficult for me to have a conversation with you and look at you dead set in the eyes. I used to be really good at that, but now I just try to avoid it completely. I was trying to make up a plan around the situation, my trauma, my fibro, my well-being, and obviously I stuck around for my neighbor's well-being. She eventually said, oh, I'm gonna take Toby inside. We were right out of her apartment, and the guy had said, okay, well, I'll be back. You don't know when and you don't know how, but I'll be back. And obviously, that sounds insanely creepy. Stranger, doesn't even live in our complex. And I was trying my hardest not to be very judgmental or not to immediately throw him in this category, but he just wasn't helping his case. I don't hate the guy. I'm just creeped out. I am thinking about myself. I'm thinking about my survival. My instincts are kicking in, and I don't want anything to happen to me. Keeping my distance, allowing Aria to do her job, and my neighbor finally gets up and she walks to her door. She's freaked out. I know she's triggered because she's just like, I'll see you later, I'll see you later. And that's all she can muster up to tell me. So now I'm in the front of her door, hearing the guy pick up his bike, getting ready to leave. And I have no idea what to do. So immediately I call my friend. He's not answering, and I'm freaking out because I just start walking. I start walking, and eventually he picks up. Thank God. And the guy in the bike continues to talk to me. My plan is to distract myself, to not think about the situation that I'm currently in, to pretend that everything's okay, as good as it can be. Hopefully the guy doesn't think that he can talk to me or interrupt me because I'm on the phone. My friend answers, and I'm talking on the phone, and he's at work, so immediately he knew this was weird, and he asks me if I'm okay. And of course I can't be like, I am so triggered right now, because the guy is still following me. He's following me on his bike, and I'm walking my dog, and he's like, oh, you're gonna take your dog for a walk? Because he thinks I'm living at my neighbor's house. And I tell him, yeah, I am. So I keep on walking, keep on talking on the phone as if nothing's wrong. And the guy is still following me, and he eventually asks me out on a date. And I say, no, I'm sorry, I have a boyfriend. He mumbles something, he's talking, I don't know what he's saying. And he's like, he eventually tells me, well, I could take care of you every night. I don't want to hear that. And okay, pause. So if it was any other person, and I know if it was me prior to my PTSD, I wouldn't have gotten as triggered as I did at that very moment. I wouldn't have gotten scared when the whole interaction happened. It would have just been some guy that was creepy, that was creeping on our apartment property, and it just would have been a very disgusting incident. That's all it is. That's all it in hindsight, that's all it is. But for you guys who are dealing with PTSD, that's not all it is, because your PTSD, your trauma comes back. The feeling, the fear, the fight or flight or freeze, cortisol, emotions, everything, memories that are embedded into your unconscious. Oh my gosh, it's just a lot. Eventually he leaves me, and I just want to break down. My friend keeps on asking me if I'm okay, because like I said, it's weird that I just call him out of nowhere like that. And I tell him, nope, I'm not okay. I'm not okay. And that's when I start breaking down. I told myself not to fully break down. One, I typically wear makeup to force myself not to cry. Especially if I am going to be at work or if I'm going to be doing something. I don't want to just start breaking down. I want to tell myself, hey Alex, you have a full face of makeup. You can't do that. Money. It costs money. Your natural product, foundation, mascara, eyeshadow, yeah girl, we're not going to waste that away. So I don't. And not to say that I haven't had incidences, or a lot of the time had incidences where I just break down. I just use my makeup as an excuse. My plan's going according to my plan, and he's being very supportive. And I'm walking to my apartment. I'm telling him I just need to get to my apartment. Just calmly walk to my apartment, but speed walking at the same time. Try not to break down. Try not to have an anxiety attack or a panic attack, whichever comes first. Get into the apartment. Tell him I'm okay. I'm safe. I'm here. He, does the whole thing, comforting, and we hang up. So now I really, really want to break down, and I really, really just want to have a bad episode. I am shook. I want to cry. I want to throw things. I want to just have a mental breakdown because I am so scared. I am so scared. I can't even explain to you how terrifying that is. It's like watching a horror movie, and yeah, you go in with the anticipation of being scared, and then there's a jump scare, and you're just like, whoa. Or you actually yell, or you feel some sort of like mini heart attack, right? That's a trigger, but for several minutes, for several hours, for a whole day, or even 2 or 3, depending on when your brain feels safe. It takes a lot to get out of that. And I'm so sorry that you had a trigger today, or yesterday, or a couple of days ago, or a month ago. I'm sorry that you're going through your seasonal depression and it's just hitting you all at once. I'm sorry that you're still living where the trauma happened. I'm sorry that it's the anniversary of the trauma. I wish I could explain trauma. I wish I could show you how it feels. But you can't describe trauma without going through it, actually understanding how it really, really feels. It also feels like the best way that I can describe it. It's when you lose a loved one and you're still grieving over them, and how hard it hits you when you found out the news that they passed away. That's when your life changed. That's when whoever knew about whatever you were going through, they changed. A lot of things change when trauma happens. A lot of people you push away. A lot of memories you can't even remember. Occasions, holidays. You don't want anybody. And I know you weren't this person before PTSD. And I know it's so annoying and it's so irritating. It's a hot damn mess. And you just try to push yourself. And it's still scary when you think that you're alright and then one day it just happens again and you're just reminded that you still have it. But something that my friend did tell me, he said, Alex, in all the years that I've known you, you would have never reacted on how you're reacting right now. You actually had a plan. Back then, you just would have ran away. And if that's not progress, then I don't know what is. And when he said that, I was like, wow, that's so true. I would have definitely been like, nope, drop everything. Arya, drag her with me. Because she loves my neighbor and her dog. You need to give yourself credit. And that's why you're watching this video. And I hope you've made it this far to even hear that whole sob story. But you're doing amazing. You're trying every day, every hour, every minute. I didn't even want to make this video because as you saw, I almost broke down. I wanted to lay in bed and not do a gosh darn thing. You have to start planning things instead of running away. Because if you run away, the problem's still there and the fear's still there. That's not you. That's not you watching this video. You guys were even clicking on other individuals who have PTSD, are looking for answers, you're looking for happiness, you're looking for a way to get better. And that's going to take a long time, and your triggers are never going to go away, but they're going to be way easier to manage once you develop a plan, once you find the courage in you to be like, hell no, this is not going to happen again, and I'm going to do something about it. But if you're beginning, if your trauma just happened, if you're trying to deal with it then and there, your answers are not going to be there. Everything's going to be confusing. Everything's going to be scary. Everything is scary. There are so many survivors, and I know you don't want to be here. I know you want to self-harm. I know you want to go back to every other unhealthy coping mechanism that you've been doing. But then that just means you're stuck. But that doesn't mean that you're going to be there forever. You just have to make a plan. Get a support system. And if you don't, just know that you have a safe place here. This became into a rant. I know. And I'm sorry. I just felt like I needed to say all this because it just scared me so much, and I felt if it's so raw right now, I feel like I could try to explain it as best as I can for somebody who's dealing with something similar. With the fears, with the triggers, with the emotional outbursts, with not wanting to bother anybody but bothering them anyway because you need help. And you are freaking strong for still being here. Even if you do those unhealthy coping mechanisms, just being here with us, thank you. I hope this wasn't too much, and I'm sorry if it was. And I hope this did help somebody, but I hope you do continue having a wonderful week. And I'll be seeing you guys on Tuesday. I love you guys so much. Bye.